Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm once again talking about a TV show. I know I did that recently with The Last of Us, but I have another TV show that recently wrapped as well around the Memorial Day weekend, and that is the new Apple TV Plus show, The Studio. This is a very fun show. Seth Rogen is kind of the head star of the show. Him and Evan Goldberg, who he's collaborated with on several comedy movies, kind of came up with this concept together that Apple TV Plus had funded for them as a TV show. And I gotta say, this is a very fun show. I had an excellent time watching it. It was definitely very fun to have the show have, a new episode every Wednesday ever since the season premiere happened. So there's a part of me that's a little bummed that I probably won't get another new episode for a while for this. But man, for season one, for every Wednesday that they had a new episode, I was always very excited to see what they did with the show overall. And I am here to report, that this is an excellent episode or excellent season of television. So I am going to go over some positives and negative thoughts, obviously in a non-spoiler territory, the way that I just recently did with The Last of Us Season 2, because this is an excellent show, and I definitely highly recommend that you check this one out. But for my positives of the studio, you guys, they have some great social commentary on the film industry, whether it is, really weird IP being turned into movies, whether it is, people on sets of movies being treated badly, and so, things get interrupted on set and stuff like that. Just how the show explores different aspects of the film industry. There's even a really effective episode involving Seth Rogen going to this charity event for all these doctors, and all these doctors are extremely unaware with the current state of the film industry and how they kind of push people that work for that industry to the side just because they're not working in the health field, they're not saving lives, they're not making cures for medicine or anything like that. And throughout the entire episode of the show, Seth Rogen's trying to change their mind, show how entertainment and how television and film is very effective and very big in people's lives, and how it is important that we keep it going and keep making material for those, for television and film. And just how things play out in the show, I thought was very effective. They even got certain celebrities to play themselves in the show too, like Martin Scorsese, Ron Howard, Zac Efron plays himself in one episode and stuff. So there's really effective stuff here that really shows just how great the social commentary is on the film industry, and how both Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg have a lot of stuff on their minds, both funny and real and realistic, revolving around, the current state of the film industry. And it's all really effective here. I also thought the show's music was very effective. It definitely has for those who ever saw the film Birdman by Alexandro Inarritu, it very much has a Birdman feel to it, where everything feels like it's kind of done in one take. The music is very similar in almost every scene to scene that we watch. Just the way that it plays out, the way that it's this consistent string of the same kind of music, and I just thought the way that the music is incorporated in the show was very effective here. It definitely felt very involved with everything that you're watching. So I thought the way that the musical score was handled in each and every episode of season one was very effective here. And overall, too, I cared about these characters that we're following around. There's, the Seth Rogen character, who's kind of the head creative executive of this Continental studio that we're following. Obviously, the Continental is a fictional studio, but the film tries to make it feel like it's a part of our real world as it possibly can. There's a character named Sal that we follow that kind of works directly with Seth Rogen, and he gets a lot of creative decisions done too, and all these big film projects that they tackle. There's a character played by Sui Wonders named Quinn that also was a creative executive. She's kind of up and coming, and she's learning the ropes. She's kind of views Seth Rogen as her mentor, and has to take on some side projects while he's doing some of the bigger stuff. And so she gets a voice on a lot of these projects as well. And then Kathryn Hahn has a role in this, and a lot of really big name people have big roles in this. Bryan Cranston is kind of Seth Rogen's boss too, in a way, so he gets a lot to do in this season, specifically in the episodes that he gets very involved in. But I cared about these characters. I cared about their lives. I cared about their careers. If one of them is about to get a promotion, I really wanted them to have that promotion because I knew how passionate and caring they were. And we get to see a lot of behind the scenes stuff as to how they process their jobs, how they go home from their jobs, how they get turned away for some really great ideas, how they have to kind of live up to really bad ideas and kind of just go through to make the best films possible based off of really bad IP or really bad ideas that the studio executives want them to do and stuff. So I cared about these characters. I cared about their lives, cared about their careers, and that's very effective for each and every episode of the show because there's a lot of time you get to spend with these characters and all the ups and downs that they face. I also thought the show was overall really funny as well. There is some really effective humor here. There is a lot of typical Seth Rogen stoner comedy stuff here that gets thrown in every once in a while, but for the most part, as a season overall, very funny. They found a lot of really funny jokes and stuff to deal with. They found a lot of fun satire to work with as well. A lot of effective commentary on the film industry. Very funny stuff here. Definitely loved the comedy overall in this show. I also like some of the true story influences that they had over the course of the show too. I think the Kool-Aid movie one was loosely based off of the things that happened during the Emoji movie back when that was in production, and how nobody wanted it, but they still had to make a film about it. They still had to make the studio executives happy. For some reason, a lot of them thought that that was going to be a terrific movie and stuff. And so there's a lot of stuff like that where, or like there was like a Golden Globes one too, where Seth Rogen just wanted Zoe Kravitz to give him screen credit for this big project that she got an award for, and just having his name broadcasted on television was kind of the big highlight of his career if that's what that actress was going to do for him and stuff. And so there's a lot of true story influences of things that have happened to people like that, and how something small like having your name mentioned during an award show can make or break your career and make or break if you land future projects and stuff. And so I do like how the show really makes the point that some of these true story influences have happened to some real film industry employees. I also thought a lot of the LA and film lot locations were very effective here. They're huge, big, and grand. They show kind of films being filmed like when they're just walking around and seeing how the film productions are going on the Continental sets and stuff. Just how the use of LA is, the use of the film lots, how they definitely show kind of the nicer, prettier parts of LA. When the sun is high in the sky and film productions are kind of in full swing, and it's just really effective here. I like the filming locations, and I like that we get to follow some of these characters home and kind of see what is going on in their personal lives, and just an overall really effective show here. I definitely like the use of filming locations that they found for the show. Every once in a while, and I'm going to go into my negatives here, every once in a while we'll get like some filler, pointless episodes that really don't kind of go anywhere. They're just kind of playing around with stuff for 35 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever. And some of those episodes were a little disappointing me because I did like that overall continuity of, it started with a Kool-Aid movie. Now we get to kind of get to see kind of what the casting process was like, what the award process was like, what the CinemaCon process was like. And I like when the show has this big continuity of things that happened in an earlier episode and how they affect future episodes. So it kind of keeps a nice season one continuity with the whole thing. So every once in a while we do get these stupid little filler, pointless episodes that are just kind of jokes about certain things in the film industry, and they just kind of move on to the next thing by the time the next episode starts. So that aspect of the show was a little disappointing to me. I would have liked to have seen more of a episode 1 affects episode 2 affects episode 3, and so on and so forth. Because they keep it every once in a while, but I thought they could have done it for the overall entire season of the show. I also thought certain moments didn't feel real world enough. There's just a lot of times where something happens that just feels like it just really would not happen in the real world, whether it's a burrito being thrown at a person and it ruins a film set and stuff like that just gets really, really ridiculous. There's just a lot of times too where without getting into too much detail, like all these characters are on drugs at one point before this big presentation at CinemaCon, and they kind of have to do it well or a lot of them are going to lose their jobs and stuff. Just the way that certain things played out and nobody got suspicious about their behavior I thought was a little weird. Keep in mind that was kind of also part of the season finale, so I am curious to see if that's going to hurt or affect the stuff that happens in season 2, because apparently that got greenlit already. But I really would have liked to have seen more real world feeling type of moments in the show, because there is times where we do kind of step out of it and feel like we are just watching an everyday comedy movie and not something that's going on within the film industry with these characters like a lot of the show is able to pull off. So I thought more real world moments would have been more effective for the show overall. And overall, too, some of these episodes do feel a little too short for their own good. Like I said, some of them are only like 35 minutes or so. So some of these are just kind of little throwaway episodes that happen to be filmed in between some of the bigger stuff with like the Kool-Aid movie and stuff like that. So I thought moving forward, if they do indeed move along with the season 2 like they hope they do, hopefully they have longer episodes, because I'm one of those people where if you're going to do television, sometimes if you do a 45 to 1 hour episode of the show, that really brings out the most of your content and allows you to explore something to the best of your ability. And if you only keep things at about 35 minutes, I don't think you're going to have that effect as if you do like what The Last of Us did, where try to have 45 minutes to full 1 hour episodes to really explore what you're trying to say. But overall, I'm going to give the studio season 1 a 9 out of 10. It's a very terrific show. Love the commentary on the show. I really hope they keep that going for season 2. Sounds like they even have some celebrities in mind of what they want to do for season 2 and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll be a lot of fun. Really like this first season that they had here on Apple TV Plus. Like I said, a couple negatives along the way, a couple things I think they could fix as they go into a season 2. But excellent show. If you have not watched the studio yet, be sure to see it. Be sure to see all the first season episodes within the order that they were released, because it will help you going into the season finale of the show. But I really liked it a lot. Really can't wait for season 2. I highly recommend watching the studio season 1. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. I highly recommend it.